We're seeing a lot of that, and a lot of that has to. We were talking about that.
Colonialism.
There's not a lot of information. And I don't say information, teachings of colonialism and how colonialism destroyed Africa. And likewise in Africa, there's not like a lot of going on about the civil rights, right? Because you're all the way in Africa. So when the two come together, it's like, you know, this thing that's happened, you know?
And I think the difference is that there are three.
Did he say black Africans and black immigrants?
But you know where else? You know where else we're seeing that though? That same type of division where you're talking about the Indians and with the
blacks and
the black and Indians. We're seeing the same thing here in the United States though, with black Africans, black immigrants.
Who the black Africans? And who the black, ain't no such thing called a black immigrant. What do you, who is he talking about? He talking about with us? Who is he talking about?
We're seeing a lot of that, and a lot of that has to. We were talking about that.
Colonialism.
There's not a lot of information. And I don't say information, teachings of colonialism and how colonialism destroyed Africa. And likewise in Africa, there's not like a lot of going on about the civil rights, right? Because you're all the way in Africa. So when the two come together, it's like, you know, this.
Well, respectfully, I'm assuming, I don't know if he's trying to be purely disrespectful by saying black Africans, because I'm not a black African, and then I'm not a black immigrant. So who is he talking about? Because any African that's in America is an immigrant. So I don't understand who he's speaking about. Who is he talking about?
This thing that's happened, you know?
And I think the difference is that there are three sort of sets of black people that are in the diaspora. They're the Africans who were enslaved in their own home.
Yes.
You know, if you were Kikuyu or you were, you know, a Xhosa person in South Africa, they enslaved your ass right there. And when they were done enslaving you, you got rid of them for the most part. They either left or they left behind their colonial system, but they colonized you in your own place where you lived. Then you have the people who were stolen, and you either went to a country like a Brazil or to the Caribbean. And so you experienced just horrific, degrading slavery, but that was about enslaving people and then using their bodies up and then letting them die and then going and getting more. And so you had a more holistically black culture because you really maintained your African.
It's not black.
In a lot of ways. And then when you died, they just went and got a different person. You weren't like being bred like cattle. Chattel slavery really only took place in the United States and Canada, but mainly, right? And so this is a different mentality. These people were told that slavery was endemic to being black. The African Americans were sort of taught or
the African Americans. This bitch gonna keep using his name.
Told that just being black or having any African ancestry meant that you were endemically a slave forever. That was not the case as much in the Caribbean or in Africa. They knew they had a 1,000-year-old culture in these African countries to fall back on, to say we're not endemically enslaved people. We don't come from slavery. Whereas in America, they tried to cut them off from their Africanness and say the Africanness doesn't matter. You're just a slave. Your whole history is a slave. You never learn anything about what your ancestral origins were or what kingdoms you came from. You never learned that. You just learned slavery, 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 slavery. And so black slavery in the U.S. was just unique. But the other thing I think that people who are from, like where our families are from, what they don't recognize is that that kind of slavery caused African Americans to produce, I would say, the most dominant cultural force that's ever lived.
And that's why we're seeing it spread. That's why we see it spread everywhere.
It's everywhere. And it doesn't come, and it comes from Africa endemically, right?
The bitch just won't stop. I see why people really don't like this hoe. I see why they don't like her. It come from Africa. No, it don't. It don't come from Africa. Don't nothing about our culture come from Africa, goofy little girl. Don't nothing about our culture come from Africa, my nigga. Nothing. You just destroyed your own talking point. You just said, so-called, if we all came from Africa, that they took away the Africanness. So there was nothing about us that was still associated with Africa. So any culture that was built after that wouldn't have been African.
food,
doubt.
the rice,
That's
the,
right.
the dishes they eat, the oxtail, everything. There's an Africanness to it.
No, it's not an Africanness to it. No, it's not, nigga. We don't eat rice with our fingers and hands. We don't do that. That's not what we do. The way that you make oxtail, American oxtail in the South, is not how you would make oxtail in any other place on this earth. We don't eat the same foods. We don't do what you do. Like, this is what we be talking about. This is exactly what we be talking about as far as like trying to Africanize so much, because you will never say this about Jamaica, bitch. You would never say this about Jamaica, little girl, goofy little bald head little girl. You ain't gonna never say this about Jamaica. Is Jamaican culture just Africanness? Is just Africanness to the core? No, it's Jamaican culture, goofy little girl. It's just Jamaican culture. Only we gotta be correlated and connected to some far off ass continent that ain't got nothing to do with us. You just destroyed your own talking point, goofy little girl, and now you trying to recoup it by it's still from this Africanness. No, it's not. Goofy little hoe. No, it's not. You just making stuff up, man, because you want to be associated to something because you a tether. I see why people don't like this lady. I wasn't really hip to Joy Reid up until I would probably say like the last 6 months. But I ain't really keep up with her until like I would say like the last 30 days. I wouldn't say keep up with her, but I keep seeing her name and keep seeing her name and keep seeing her name. But I see why don't nobody like you. I see why. Goofy little girl. I see why they don't like your little goofy little ass. Bald head little B2B little goofy little girl.
The dishes they eat, the oxtail, everything. There's an Africanness to it, but its origin story is America.
So then, what is you talking about
this
then?
thing that is,
So then, what you talking about? What you talking about? What Africanness is? Africanness. I don't even know if that's an actual word. What Africanness is correlated to our Black American culture? There's no Africanness to it. Nothing about it is African. Nothing about it is African. Why does that only correlate to us? Is Brazilian culture from Africanness? You would never say that about Brazilian people, lady. Get off our dick. Goofy little girl. That hairline you got is Africanness. That's the only thing African about that's that hairline.
Until a certain, we didn't even say African American when I was growing up. People would say, they used to say Negro, then they said African American, and blacks kind of rejected that. Yeah. The term that Black Americans like is black.
They like black, yep.
And so because
so then call us that, because the whole entire show you keep saying African American. If that's what you know, then stop being disrespectful and being disingenuous, Laho.
It rolls
Was it
over.
Jesse brought up African American? Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, it was this idea of saying we're African, but in America.
Yeah.
But African, when I was growing up, being African was not cool. Us little four little Africans.
Trust.
There was
we got
no
made fun of.
connection, right? So they were like, "Oh, you African booty scratcher." They used to say something like that. Remember the African booty scratcher? Because African Americans trace their ancestors.
So you just said that we like being the term black, but you want to continuously call us African American. So you actively and willingly just want to be disrespectful. So I'm gonna disrespect you back.
Street
to big ass rain boots, them big ass Catwoman boots, them big ass shoe shining boots, them big ass flipper at the airport boots. Little goofy little girl.
Mississippi to Alabama to America.
Yeah.
And but what they did is they took, there are 2,500 different indigenous groups in Africa. It's the most biodiverse continent on the planet. There's no more biodiversity anywhere like Africa.
That's right.
And so people who were in those ships came from like some people, my people are Hausa, my father people are Hausa, some people are Igbo, some people are so we're Hausa people, right? So that's how we identify, you know what I mean? You take a Hausa person, an Igbo person, a Yoruba, and you throw them all in a ship. And they may speak each other's language or they may not, but they come from different tribes. You throw them all together, stick them in a slave ship, strip them of their identity. In a generation, they're not Hausa, they're not Igbo, they're not Yoruba, they're just black.
Black, yeah.
And so this culture of blackness, of American blackness.
It's a real culture.
Just negate all the indigenous connection that we have to this land.
Powerful. It's a new tribe. It's a unique tribe, and we need to respect it.
There's some Africans that will say, "You don't have a culture. Black Americans do. Are you fucking mind?
Come on.
Because half of you copy it.
Copy it.
Everybody copies Black American
It is
Yes.
powerful
culture.
because you said it's
You're
powerful.
talking
There's
about-
something different and magnetic about it. You know,
It's
Like,
magnetic. It's
yeah.
a new tribe. They literally took out of many one. You want to talk about what's out of many one? It's all the, and look, they did the same with the white people because white people were all different. They were, French and they were German, they were Bavarian, they hated each other's guts. And they amalgamated them all into something called white. And then they amalgamated all of the blacks into something called black. They invented.
No, they didn't. That's a lie that you just made up. They didn't amalgamate all of the blacks into something called black. They amalgamated the whites into something called white in America. But the difference is the term black was specifically a determinant for our people. When it comes to whites, first of all, most of these people like the Irish and the Italians and the people that you name weren't even able to classify themselves as white when they first got to America, which would prove the point, right? They weren't even being able to be called white. They didn't get called white until later. Most of these white people in America, quote unquote, did not even be able to, they didn't get to America until the 1880s up into the 1950s. So these are the Ellis Islander whites. They're not even, they're Europeans. They're not of the Anglo original stock of this country. Same logic applies with the term black. They don't set the standard. See, that's the difference that a lot of people like her don't understand. They don't set the standard. We set the standard. We get to say who is and who isn't. That's how that works. They don't set the standard. I don't give a damn what they say. We gonna say who is and who isn't. The same way the logic is gonna apply with your own people. So there is no everybody, we all black. No, you not black. You a part of your country and your tribe. And that's okay. That's okay. That's not to say that I'm better. At least I'm not saying that. That's not to say that I'm better, but that's okay. I'm not a part of you and it's okay. That's fine. And it's not a hatred. It's not a I don't like you. I don't got no issue with Africans and Caribbeans. I got an issue with others like her. But I don't have no issues with African and Caribbeans, but we're not the same exact type of people. We're not the same people. And that is okay. We may have similarities, right? Some people may have some, some people have obviously DNA, but that can, where there may be some similarities, but we're not the same people. We're not the same people. And that's okay. But for whatever reason, they think it's a bad thing.
At essence_of_quiescence super chatted $20. What's up from NYC Ant? Been watching you for months now and wanted to support. You put me on about my FBA heritage and low-key helped me come to terms with the fact that I have confidence issues as a man. Working to improve.
Hey man, that's what it's for, man. I'm glad I was able to have that impact on you, bro. Man to man, that's much respect, bro. Most men wouldn't admit to something like that. So I'm glad I was able to have that impact on you, my nigga. I appreciate the donation, and I hope that you keep watching, and I hope that I keep, that's why I do my dating content. And I know we kind of drifting off, but that's exactly why I do my dating content, and I talk about masculinity and manhood, because I want to be able to help people, men and women. And that's exactly what I do, because I feel like people can hear that type of shit, and it'll correlate to them, and they be like, you know what, this nigga right. Maybe I need to get on my shit, and it keep me on point too, because I ain't perfect either. Trust me, I ain't the top nigga in the world. I'm far from it. But it keep me on point. So I'm glad I was able to have an impact on you, bro. Thank you for donating to my content. Hope you keep coming around. Hope you keep showing love. Hope you keep watching the content, man. And you feel me? I'm going to keep putting in this work. I got you, fam. Much love to you, and I appreciate you. And thank you for accepting me for me, my nigga. A lot of people don't like me because I'm just unapologetically myself. I ain't no follow the line ass nigga either. I ain't no follow the leader ass nigga either. I speak for me and me only. You know what I'm saying? And I don't try to be like nobody else. I appreciate you though, bro. Real shit. Real shit. All right. Let's keep going.
All into something called white. And then they amalgamated all of the blacks into something called black. They invented these things. These things didn't exist until the 16th century. Yeah. And they're all false. They're not real. Right. But they took away the thing that most humans organize themselves by, which is tribe. Yeah. And that is gone in America. You're just white or you're black. And black American culture is, again, it's the most dominant culture that's ever existed. It created rock and roll, soul music, country music, half the food we eat. Most of what we do in this country that makes us American is black people.
Food, sports, slang, the way you people dress. Make sure you add that on there too. Little goofy little girl.
Created it. Right. And so I think when our people come from other countries, they need to give that some respect. Yeah. They need to treat that with respect. But also I wish
you don't give it respect though. At least Godfrey, even though people kind of iffy with Godfrey, at least he tried to kind of be a bridge. You completely you support abortion and you support the mutilation of 20 million black babies since 1970, since Roe v. Wade. So you're completely against the black community. I have nothing but disrespect for you. Good little goofy little mama, little girl, goofy little girl.
American blacks could get the chance to learn what colonialism did to Africa. Because it's not like African people didn't suffer. And I think there's a sense that African people sold us away and forgot about us. But they forget those people were destroyed. You know, you as a
True. This is the difference though, little goofy little girl. The difference is Black Americans are not going to Africa in droves. Black Americans are not going to the Caribbean in droves and living there. We're not going there tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. We're not doing that, right? We're in our homeland. So if anybody should understand the culture and the history of the country they're going to, it should be you people, because we're not coming to your countries and living in your communities, and we're not getting to your positions of power. We don't get into African politics. What Black American is getting into African politics and being able to speak for a group of people and tell those people what they should and shouldn't get? What Black Americans are being able to get into your cultural creations and then classified as themselves, right? And feel like, well, the culture was created by us just because we look alike. We're not doing that. We don't go to your countries and cosplay. We don't go to your countries and live up under y'all and embed ourselves into society. We don't do that. Y'all do that with us. So if anybody should have any type of knowledge or some gaining and some on some what you need to be doing and what you need to be learning, it should be y'all people. And again, my issue and my this fire that I got is only for the tethers. I don't got no issue with you because you African, my nigga. Any African nigga watching me, I ain't got no issue with you because you African, my nigga. I really rock with you. If you Caribbean, I ain't got no issue with you. If you Caribbean, I rock with you. Don't be no tether though, my nigga. Don't be no tether. Don't be disrespectful. Don't do that. So if anybody should be being a so-called bigger person or trying to gain knowledge and intelligence about the country or the community that they're going to, it should be your community. Joy Reid, La Goofy La Girl, your community, not us. That's not to say that we shouldn't learn African history. I think that we should. I just found out last year what happened in the Congo. You know what I'm saying? I just found that out, right? And there's still a lot of knowledge I want to learn about Africa. You know what I'm saying? Really around the whole world. I've been doing history on World War II recently. I've been reading up articles and watching documentaries about World War II, right? The true story of World War II, not what the American government try to teach you, right? But I've been trying to, figure this stuff out. But if anybody should be the one that's doing that, it should be your people, not us. Let's keep going. Somebody said Dr. Umar Johnson. Fuck Dr. Umar Johnson.
Michael Harriot said when we had him on for our Black History special, if Black people were selling other Black people, why did you need a fort? If this was a transaction that was mutual and the kings of Africa were just selling off Black, well, then why did you need to build giant forts? You build giant forts because you were having wars with those kings who you were stealing their people. You wouldn't need a fort if you were selling and buying.
And that's something that people like. That's the information that gets passed out a lot. You hear, well, your people sold.
They love to throw that out there. Take the burden off them.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Because the history gets distorted that way, and it minimizes. And I've always been a person, and I know they trash me on online, but I want to know, like, what is the connection point? Because you said it. Once that happened, it cut the connection. I literally physically saw it when you said that, almost like a cord being like. Is there ever going to be a connection point between African immigrants and Black Americans?
It's already
happening now.
Yeah.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
If you go to Ghana right now, you will see African Americans on every street. Yeah. They're getting their residency. They're getting their citizenship. Yeah. They're moving back. They're reinvesting.
Moving back? And no, you're not going to see that many Black Americans in Ghana. There's not that many Black Americans in Ghana. Are there some? Sure, there's some. Yeah, we travel. There's Black Americans in every single part of this earth. But the majority of us, what do you mean moving back? What are you talking about? Moving back? Moving back where? Who are you to tell us where we from and where we going back to? Look goofy, little hoe. Look goofy, little girl. You can't tell us that. What are you talking about? Moving back? How do you know that person is even from there? Maybe they just wanted to go there to invest because maybe they got some money that they want to put up there. Maybe they can get something out of it. Or maybe they just want to move to Africa. Maybe they just want to move to Africa. What's wrong with just wanting to move there? What do you mean moving back? You don't know if they from there for real. They just happen to want to go to Africa and move to Africa. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If I move to Ethiopia, am I moving back? Bitch, my people don't come from Ethiopia, bitch. Maybe I just want to move to Ethiopia because there's some bad bitches over there. Maybe that's what I want to do. So stop Stop it. Joy Reid is very disrespectful, and I see why a lot of people don't like her. Them bullshit ass braids, fake short little braids she got. I don't know what that hairstyle is.
Yeah.
They're getting their residency, they're getting their citizenship, they're moving back, they're reinvesting. Africans
Reinvesting.
We reconnected the umbilical cord ourselves, and that's why you always talk about why people are mad. The 1619 Project was one of those moments where Black people said, no. We're going to recreate our own history. We're going to tell our own story. And that story does not mean that we come from slavery. Right. We don't come from slavery. You all come from oppressing. You guys come from robbery and theft, and you need to own that. Yeah. But we are starting to tell our own story and reconnect ourselves to Africa and really invest in Africa and realize there's a huge bounty of human capacity, of financial capacity, and that together, we're like the most powerful weapon on earth.
Yeah, and I feel that energy.
They need to be investing in us in America, if anything, because if anybody should be giving anybody some type of money, it should be them. They're on a continent of 2 billion people. Africa is the richest continent on earth when it comes to natural resources and stuff like that. So when do these African countries invest into Black American communities? That's a genuine question. When do these African countries who got all this wealth and all this resources, when do they ever say, you know what, let's help the kids in Chicago. Let's help the kids in Detroit. Let's help the kids in LA. Let's help the kids in Kansas City, or the kids in Cleveland, or the kids in New York, or the kids in Delaware. When do y'all ever do that? Let's help the kids in Houston. Let's help the kids in Dallas. Let's go help the kids in Baltimore or Memphis. Y'all don't do that. Why do we always got to help y'all? And this is from an interpersonal level. It'd be one Black person or a few individual Black people with some money that want to go give some so-called money back to Africa. When do y'all ever put some money in and y'all are whole countries with hundreds and millions of people in them. Nigeria got over 200 million people. Since we are Nigeria got over 200 million people. The people in government, why don't they come up with some money and invest it into us? Why we got to invest it into them and we're the minority and they're the majority population-wise? We are always the ones that sit to do everything for everybody. And that's what you're seeing in this conversation right now with Goofy Little Girl. That's her new nickname, Goofy Little Girl. I ain't calling everybody, you Goofy Little Girl. Since we African-American, you Goofy Little Girl.
9 countries. I want to go to more countries in Africa. I want to do all 54.
Same.
I want to be able to go to Madagascar and say I met somebody from Madagascar. But like what I noticed
and bring back a wife for your friends.
But what I love is like there is this similarity and this connection through all of the countries I've been to in Africa. Like there is this connection that I feel the same being here, growing up in America, and I'm like, I just want to see and minimize or eradicate the confusion that is the distrust or the pointing fingers at each other. Well, you guys are this way, or you look down and you think you're better. You're an African booty scratcher.
Well, how do you think they stole us?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, little kids say African booty scratcher. Grown adults are not running around calling you African booty scratcher. Get over it. Everybody got bullied in the 4th grade. You got called an African booty scratcher in the 4th grade, and you never got over it. Nigga, everybody gets bullied when you a kid. You weren't the only one getting bullied. Everybody in this live right now that's listening to me, you got bullied. Somebody said something to you mean when you was a little kid. Like, stop with the whole, like, they could as African booty scratcher. It was so disrespectful. Like, everybody got cooked as a kid, man. Like, everybody did. Stop with the little kids use that. Grown adults are not running around calling each other African booty scratcher. Get over it.
Their method was to say, hey.
That's like, you called me a stinky head when I was in the 3rd grade. Like, okay. Like, come on, man. You still mad over stinky head.
Tribe number 1, sell me somebody from tribe number 2, or give me your prisoners of war from that tribe. They're not, remember, these people didn't think of themselves as all Black. You're this tribe, I'm that tribe. If I have prisoners of war from the other tribe, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let them go to you. And then they got greedy and said, you know, it's not enough for me to give you your prisoners of war. I'm going to go back and just take people, right? But it did start out as, I'll take my prisoners of war. They didn't think it was going to be endemic slavery forever. Right. And then once they got greedy and were like, come and taking people, then there were the fights. But even in the Caribbean, there are a lot of African Americans who think of Caribbean Blacks as like foreign. They're probably your cousins. If you're in New Orleans, you're probably
Goofy little girl is losing her mind. Goofy little girl need help, man. Goofy little girl need help. Goofy little girl is, oh man, I don't know what's up with Goofy little girl. Goofy little girl that lost her mind, man.
You know, I mean, if you're in Florida, you are probably from Barbados because you probably
don't. None of my cousins got a bad hairline. None of them. So no, that ain't my cousin, nigga.
have first cousins in Barbados. You know, they would drop people off in the Caribbean and then sell them to South Carolina. Like the route was often Caribbean, then the U.S.
That's where they would break slaves usually.
They would break them in the Caribbean, 100%, and then bring them here. So it's like a lot of people, their first stop was not Virginia or South Carolina. It was Jamaica.
Yeah, it's crazy. Damn. Well, it's a number on us.
We could go on.
But we still here though.
And we survive.
And I can feel it, Burgeon. I can feel it connecting. You got Gabon. You got Ludacris lives in Gabon. He has a place in Gabon.
Yeah.
Citizen in Gabon. So it's coming around.
It's coming.
They're
that's why we have
they're
this.
counting.
That's why we have 154.
That's why they're panicking and they're counting on our not being together like we've got, because we're all we got. Dr. Henry Clark says we have no friends in the world.
So why you ain't in Africa then, Godfrey? If you believe in that, if Pan-Africanism is the way that y'all want to go, why are y'all not upholding this stuff? Ludacris lives in Africa. He lives in this country. Nigga, why you don't live in Africa, nigga? How you talking about all this unity and going back to Africa and your ass ain't over there living in Africa?
Black people don't have friends. He meant that. Dr. Henry Clark, one of the elders who knows his stuff.
Yeah, her new name is Goofy little girl. From now on, whenever you come across Joy Reid, that's Goofy little girl. From now on, she Goofy little girl. And you got to say it all in one word. Shut up, Goofy little girl. She not even Goofy little girl. No. She don't even deserve for you to say the name correctly. She Goofy little girl. That's what she is, Goofy little girl.
We don't have them, regardless of what you think in the whole scope of the world. Our power. There's a girl online, this white chick, she has this machine where she asks questions to the machine. She goes, why is it that, black people are always like oppressed, blah, blah, blah. And the machine talks back to her and goes, because of black people's power, is their melanin, is they're native to the, that's the reason why whites try to shut, it's like a machine. This white girl asks these questions about oppression, and it's really good stuff.
You guys send me that video.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's really interesting. And she goes, it's because it's not just it's just black people. It's their power. It's their natural. It's dope. It's like amazing. And she just asked these questions.
It's like when you have a connection to indigeneity, it's actually a powerful thing. It's why when you go and talk to Native Americans, indigenous people, they have a power. They have a spiritual power because they have a connection to the soil and the spirit.
Yeah.
And that is an African thing. There's a connection to the earth and the soil and the spirit. And if you can reconnect yourself with that, Europeans worked very hard to disconnect themselves from that and to eradicate that from what they considered to be high society and being, what they saw as being civilized.
Yes.
But being civilized meant just cutting yourself off from indigeneity. And so, which is what you're seeing, like people who are from Europe that go to Israel try to reclaim, right, and steal back. But what black people have is sort of a natural indigeneity. Like we're just naturally indigenous people. Yeah. The food we eat, the rhythm, the dancing, the music, the gospel.
It just comes out.
We just took it. Like we take, spiritual songs and music and turn it into gospel. I think that's a spiritual, physical experience. And that's an indigenous.
Who is we? You don't turn nothing into gospel, Goofy little girl. Gospel is us. Gospel is Black American culture, Goofy little girl. That's not your culture, Goofy little girl. You've never, what are you talking about? We turn it into, you don't turn it into nothing. That was built off of Black American culture and churches. What are you talking about? We. That's not your culture, Goofy little girl. What do these people be talking about, my nigga? Goofy little girl is wildin'.
This vibe. And so that vibration is common to everyone Black, whether you're in East Africa, West Africa, Caribbean, Brazil. All we need is to try to get over some of the phony, false separation that Europeans actually used to steal us.
Yes.
So then fix the tribal warfare going on in your country. Go fix Sudan. Go fix Rwanda. Go fix Ethiopia, or not Ethiopia, Somalia. Go fix these countries that are in tribal warfare right now as we speak. Go fix Nigeria, if that's what you're saying. That don't have nothing to do with Black America. Go fix your home first. You can't go to nobody's house saying that your toilet is dirty when your room dirty, your toilet dirty, the kitchen need to be cleaned, the floors is messed up. That's happening at your house. You can't come to my house and say, man, this house dirty as hell. Y'all need to clean this house up. And your house, fuck, you ain't even got no house. And your house that you do got, you left it completely effed up. What are you talking about, goofy little girl?
And it was a tactic to steal us. And as long as we fight infighting, they can keep stealing us. Yeah. And so that's how we have to learn.
I want the infighting to stop. Like
that has to stop.
The last thing you want is
you don't want the infighting to stop, because y'all don't fix none of the infighting back in your damn homeland. This is running from accountability conversation right now. That's what this conversation is about.
To turn around, and it's, you know, the people who look like you and have the same roots as you, history different, but roots are different, and to get that, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean?
But
like
then there's the sellouts, like the defective Negroes that I talk about. Stephen A. Smith, the Larry Elders, the Candace Owenses, to all of those defective. And there's one brother, I'm gonna call him out soon. They were asking him, well, what did you think about the things about what they showed about the Obamas and the monkey shoes, and this black dude's like, I didn't see what the problem. I'm going to get him though. I know. There's like there were other pictures there that were just. They all have that look. It's just so.
You know how you can always call them
asymmetrical Negroes. They just have this off look, and they don't look like they go to good barbers.
That's it. It's always the hairline.
It's the barber. It's the hairline. The barbers are no good.
I'm telling you.
Bitch. What? Oh, it was the hairline, huh? Okay.
Asymmetrical Negroes. They just have this off look, and they don't look like they go to good barbers.
That's it. It's always the hairline.
It's the barber. It's the hairline. The barbers are no
I'm
good.
telling you.
Stephen A. Smith.
It's the hairline.
It's the barbers.
That's what gives them away. I'm telling you.
I know they don't go to a barbershop with real, because barbershops is where everybody's talking. They don't go. They go to like probably some white guy goes like.
They go to Supercuts.
They go to Supercuts.
Why would you?
My chat is gonna lose it, or my comment section when I post this video. If they make it this far in the video, if you made it this far in the video, I know you about to leave a comment, my nigga. Because she said the hairlines. You want to talk about hairlines? Oh man.
Think of the same.
I'm not gonna even say it. I'm gonna let y'all say it in the comments.
They go to Supercuts.
They're going.
And what do they put on top of the bowl?
In the bowl, and there's this.
They get a protractor or something like
or a Flowbee. They got a Flowbee going on.
What is that?
A weed whacker.
It's like a weed thing, and it Flowbees your hair.
Oh, I don't.
They don't go to the real barbers where we talk that real stuff. You know.
Even if you have that, you still got to get it shaved properly. Make sure you don't get nicked.
There's always something off about those sellouts. They're just.
something. It's
He was about to go into his Elon Musk voice, but I want to say thank you
I just
so
went
much.
there.
Got one more thing. Okay, so I brought you guys, and you guys are going to have to share this. I apologize. I didn't bring it up. So you guys have to fight it out. So first I brought a mug,
Okay.
which I'm going to send a
All right, that's the end of it because that was the end of it. Yeah, the hairline comment was crazy. Yeah, man, that was we just did a 12-hour stream, y'all. 12 hours on YouTube today, y'all. It's probably the longest day I've ever done on YouTube. I don't feel too bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I don't feel too. I mean, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep, but I don't feel too bad, man. But that's the end of it, man.